Hello, my name is Jenn, and for This Way Out's Global Queer Read-In, I have a selection of poems by three queer poets, Walt Whitman, Constantine P. Cavafy, and James Broughton, three short poems by each. These poems are culled from various moments in my performance of Let Love Flourish, which highlights queer love poetry throughout history. Created originally in 2019 for the City of West Hollywood's One City, One Pride LGBTQ Arts Festival with the theme Love is Love. Some of these works are also featured in my shows Cavafy's Caress and Ecstasy for Everyone. The performances weave biographical information along with the poet's words, highlighting both the similarities and differences in style of each author, expressing their particular personalities and in many ways reflecting the time period from which they wrote. I think you'll discover some wonderful connections between these men from different times and different places. Walt Whitman, 1819 to 1892. This moment yearning and thoughtful. This moment yearning and thoughtful, sitting alone. It seems to me there are other men in other lands yearning and thoughtful. It seems to me I can look over and behold them in Germany, Italy, France, Spain, or far, far away in China or in Russia or Japan, talking other dialects. And it seems to me if I could know those men, I should become attached to them as I do to men in my own lands. Oh, I know we should be brethren and lovers. I know I should be happy with them. Walt Whitman used his own money to publish 795 copies of his first version of Leaves of Grass in 1855, without his name attached, but with his portrait facing the title page. He would expand and revise the collection many times until his death. It was generally well received, but a few highly criticized it for its frank sexual themes, calling it trashy, profane, and obscene. But what we now call timeless words from one of America's greatest and most influential poets. The works that celebrate his love of comrades, that's how he referred to homosexuality, are known as his calamus poems. The phallic-shaped flower and pink-tinged roots of the calamus plant makes for a most appropriate symbol. To a stranger. Passing stranger, you do not know how longingly I look upon you. You must be he I was seeking, or she I was seeking. It comes to me as of a dream. I have somewhere surely lived a life of joy with you. All is recalled as we flit by each other, fluid, affectionate, chaste, matured. You grew up with me, were a boy with me, or a girl with me. I ate with you and slept with you. Your body has become not yours only, nor left my body mine only. You give me the pleasure of your eyes, face, flesh. As we pass, you take of my beard, breast, hands. In return, I am not to speak to you. I am to think of you when I sit alone or wake at night alone. I am to wait. I do not doubt I am to meet you again. I am to see to it I do not lose you. Full of life now. Full of life now, compact, visible, I, 40 years old, the 83rd year of the States, to one a century hence, or any number of centuries hence, to you yet unborn, these seeking you. When you read these, I that was visible am become invisible. Now it is you, compact, visible, realizing my poems, seeking me, fancying how happy you were if I could be with you and become your comrade. Be it as if I were with you. Be not too certain, but I am now with you. Constantine P. Cavafy, 1863 to 1933. The Greek poet was born and lived in Alexandria, Egypt. He worked as a mild-mannered city clerk, wrote most of his poems after age 40, and while he shared a few of them in local newspapers and magazines, he refused to publish them formally, until after his death, in which many of his more sexually themed poems were revealed. For that, he was among the favorite poets of W.H. Auden and Christopher Isherwood. His poem Ithaca was selected by Jackie Onassis Kennedy to be read at her eulogy. The Alexandria ports were places for sailors and travelers to hang out for gay sex. Cavafy enjoyed and wrote quite openly for his time period about his many passing relationships between young men he met in the streets, in bars, in bathhouses. While he never had a lasting partnership, he experienced love from many a muse. Passing through. Things he only imagined shyly as a schoolboy are now openly revealed. And he roams about, stays out all night, and is led astray, as is right for our kind of art. Pleasure itself enjoys his fresh, fiery blood. Forbidden erotic ecstasy overcomes his body, and his young limbs give in to it completely. And in this way, a simple young man becomes something worth our watching. And for an instant, he passes through the exalted world of poetry, this sensual young man with fresh, fiery blood. At the cafe door. Something those next to me said directed my attention to the cafe door, and I beheld the beautiful body glorified, as if Eros himself made it with such consummate craftsmanship, joyfully molding his symmetrical limbs, creating perfect grace, perfect stature, shaping tenderly his face with such emotion, and imparting, by the touch of his hands, a fine sentiment on the brow, on the eyes, on the lips. Body, remember. Body, remember not only how much you were loved, not only the beds on which you lay, but also those desires for you that burned clearly in the eyes that looked upon you and trembled in voices, though by chance some obstacle finally thwarted. Now, when everything is in the past, it almost looks as if you had yielded to those desires. Remember the eyes gazing at you, how they burned, the voices, how they trembled for you. Body, remember. James Broughton, 1913 to 1999, was part of the San Francisco Renaissance, which flourished after World War II, leading the way for the Beat Poets. He published 23 books of prose and poetry and also created 23 art films, and is known for his contributions to poetic cinema. The documentary feature film Big Joy, The Adventures of James Broughton, chronicles his remarkable life's journey, which eventually introduced him to the love of his life, Joel Singer. Their relationship and participation in the gay sexual revolution of the 1970s immensely influenced the following works. Call to Devotions. Come forth, brother souls, claim your liberty. Time for devotion. Time to fraternize. Bring your orbits into harmony. Time to plant star seed in one another's eyes. Cavort together in singular twos, firm in your footloose, crazy in your wise. Comrades, come forth, hurdle the taboos. Joy will be the wonder, love the surprise. The Isles of Eden, Part 4. Since we are gods to one another, shall we acknowledge our sublimity? We are as holy now as we shall ever be. I am not only consecrated by your caress, I am enshrined in my own amazement. You romp me in meadows of beatitude. You recline me on clouds of devotion. I become an erogenated grail. My chakras whirl like prayer wheels. My kundalini runneth over. This is the hilarity of the holy ones. Rolling out of bed in Eden and rolling in again, we are rolling over and over in the Isles of Eden. Hierophant Hermes, love lord of faith, you are the only cure for my mortality. Who else pardons every crime in my history and hurdles me high over thresholds? You turn my inner nature inside out. You put me in good with the powers that be. You enlist me in the service of Uranchi angels. Now that I am converted to your impudent faith, I long to beguile the rest of the world with the seductions of your frisky gospel, until everyone believes in the holiness of sex and all congregations surrender totally to the arms of their own delight. What else is to be lived for but the harvesting of love? What else is to be loved for but the ripening of man? Thank you and blessings. I'm Jenn for This Way Out Radio.